Hey, how you doing? This is Chris Collins.
This is Coach Mark Jeffries, Mr. GGT.
And welcome to Bout That Life Podcast, where we talk AAU basketball and just life in general. Again, for those who've been supporting, really appreciate it, because believe me, I'm on Podbean and I'm peeping how you guys are really supporting us. And, you know, I know me and Mark out here sharing it on social media all the time, and any kind of words of support help us. Again, we have our Instagram, which is Bout That Life Podcast. We also have our YouTube channel, which is Bout That Life Podcast. So please hit like, share, and follow, because again, like I said, easy click for you is a big deal for us. So please keep helping us with that. Today's topics, we have a guest, but I'm gonna get to that in a sec. Today's topics, we're gonna touch on kind of AAU programs and guys kind of outgrowing them. We're also going to talk about the NBA, right, because that's some exciting stuff starting back up, so we definitely want to get into that. And just talk about some stories, some things going on this weekend. Obviously, we got to talk about COVID, because that's relevant. That's always relevant, unfortunately. It's probably going to be like that for a while, and how we're trying to navigate and adjust all that. But first, let's introduce our guest. He is our first male player guest, because, you know, Jada was here last episode. Seems like a good kid. I've just currently kind of gotten to know him and meet him. Mark has a stronger relationship with him than myself. His name is Myron Amey. He is a kid from Vacaville High School. Let me give you guys a rundown of his stats and kind of his background, and obviously he'll talk more about it. He played for Team Rampage and Cali Stars, right?
Yeah.
Right, Cali Stars, AAU. Been playing AAU since the 3rd grade. Currently, right now, he just graduated high school, just graduated from Vacaville High. He made first team All-League junior and senior year. Also, his high school made it to the playoffs, right? Made it to the playoffs this past year. Yep, senior year. So that's a good accomplishment. As far as his stats, right, he averaged 27 per game, about 4 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. And keep in mind, this kid was unranked, right? And that's probably due, like what division is your high school? Do you know?
D2.
D2, okay. So could be maybe because there's other powerhouse high schools, could be location. I mean, that matters. So in case, so, you know, for the parents who listen in, for the people who watching, let me make it clear, you know, your high school decision matters. You know, your location, the history. I know a lot of people feel nowadays high school's becoming more and more obsolete, but that's not actually the case. High school still has validity, and where you go matters. So be smart, be strategic in that, and learn from his example. Myron's about to attend Scotland campus, right? College prep.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next step for him. Obviously, assuming there's basketball seasons and stuff, that COVID isn't, you know, ruined everything. But without further ado, let's introduce our guy, Myron.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Just glad to get inside and cool off.
Yeah.
Hot outside.
Yeah. I think it's like 104 today.
Yeah. It's getting hotter every day.
Yeah, for real. So let's talk about your journey, kid. Your AAU life. You know, your AAU life, your experiences. You know, give me a rundown of that.
Started AAU 3rd grade. We became an AAU team. We started as an all-star team from our local city, Fairfield. And then from that all-star team, we created an AAU team, because we start the chemistry and how we dominate other teams. So played with them a majority of my life from 3rd grade until junior year in high school. And, I mean, that life, that was just, I played up a lot, so like a grade or 2. So at the time, that's how really I got better, was playing up and meeting new and experiencing new talent here and there, because we traveled a lot. And so we weren't a big-time team, but, you know, we competed every tournament. So that's how I really became a player, where I was just really competing and just put everything on the court, but not had the skill set really yet, and I had the talent, But when I came to Rampage, that was just more of, you know, it's serious, like we trying to get to the next level, where each tournament we went to, there's a college coach here and there, and I'm not even at the peak of my, you know, peak of what I can do yet. And then there's still coaches, you know, from these tournaments that, you know, get into contact with me, wanted me to, you know, stay in touch with them, go to open gyms with them. And so I honestly wish, you know, I hit Bracy, or Bracy hit me sooner.
Shout out to Bracy.
Yeah, shout out to
Coach
Bracy.
Bracy, Brandon Bracy.
Yep, sooner in my high school career, so I can compete with the guys that they had in the program, and as well get exposed to the big teams where we played, and just the environment we had, and just it was like a family thing. And that 1 year, you know, we built chemistry, like we were together for, you know, 2 to 3 years, and so that was really fun. But I think everything was just timing, because that was the right time where I made that move, where I was ready for that moment. So yeah, shout out to Bracy too.
Nice. All right, sounds good. I mean, how you know, with COVID and everything going on right now, and gyms being shut down, how have you kind of navigated that?
It sucked, because we were looking for a big AAU season, because since I'm going prep, I was able to do, you know, go this one more year, and we were looking forward to getting bigger, better tournaments this year because of last year, with the noise we made, and with COVID happening, it's just like you got to find some way to, you know, to make something out of it. So I mean, COVID, I used it as a positive. You know, I don't even think of the negative out of it, because ever since we got out of school, I mean, nonstop, 6 days a week, I'm, you know, at it, going 4 times a day, even more sometimes, just going at it, working as much as I can, because I know some people out there who, when it happened, they just waiting for a gym to open. Well, I got a ball and a hoop at my backyard or at a park, so I'm going to do what I can to make the most of it. So when everything does come back, I'm ahead of the kids who were sitting down and not doing nothing.
Yeah.
So that's how I took it, as a positive, and just studied the game a lot, because when the times I do sit down and rest, you know, study the game.
Good.
You know, look at guys who you feel you follow, and just
you gotta
from there.
I mean, you gotta acclimate yourself in this game. You gotta saturate it, especially nowadays. There's not enough, in my opinion, there's not enough emphasis on the IQ of the game, understanding the game, knowing your predecessors of the game. You be very, I shouldn't say I'm surprised, because I'm a coach and I see this all the time, but Mark, and you might be surprised. You know, kids don't know the history of the game.
Oh no, there's not enough of them who are student of the game.
Yeah, you know a lot of them think a lot of them think NBA started when Michael Jordan got in the league. So they say, oh, that's when the NBA was created, right? Exactly. Like, no, like there was a lot more basketball. They don't know about the ABA and the NBA merger. They don't know about how it actually started, and it started with a peach basket instead of actually a metal rim. Like they don't even know that it was actually an old white guy in Indiana that started basketball. You know, like it's knowing the history, knowing the culture. That's a thing you got to do, and I'm glad you touched base on that, because that's something a lot of people don't do. I guess, well, you know, we're gonna talk more. I want to talk more about you two's relationship, right? I want to talk about it because you know how you guys linked up, and the growth, and it seems you know, MJ, you really have a lot of trust in him. And for those wondering why I called him MJ, he's a junior, so that's where MJ comes from. You're like, what? His name's Myron Amey. How's that? But yeah, he's a junior, right? So, you know, I'm assuming he's been a big help in your growth and development, and continues to do that. You know, talk about that journey. We both can piggyback on that one. Tell me how it happened, what's going on with that.
I'll start, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just put it like this, like I'm going to be that trainer where, you know, I'm going to give a lot of love for my player, you know what I'm saying? You could either say that I'm not humble or I'm cocky or whatever, but the hours that we put in together, you know, when you invest your time with a player, you know, for hours, you know, days where you're waking up early, you know what I'm saying, staying up late, I feel you have that right to praise them and have high expectations. And for MJ, you know, with everything that he just said, you know, and I'm still trying to make him believe more, because he's a very confident kid, is, you know, he has it, you know, the it factor, you know. And for somebody who's unranked, you know, he averaged like 27. And a lot of it too is, even though you can say it's, which you're right, you know, you should be very picky also what high schools you go to. This kid's a late bloomer, you know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't develop the same, you know. What, last summer he was like, what, 5'9", 5'10" when we first started. He's about 6'3" now. Rim grazing, getting hung last year. Now he's going between the legs, you know. Nice. So you can't really predict that. But what we did since day one was always work. The skills has always been improving every month, every time. So for him to add the physical, that was just icing on the cake, you know what I'm saying? Which a lot of players, like, you know, we all know, like, they can be talented physically, but then they just don't have the skills. They don't have the counters. They don't understand how to create a shot. They don't know, you know what I'm saying, the mentality, how to compete. And I felt that when I first met him, you know, that was the first thing I noticed, regardless of his size during that time. I was like, damn, this kid is a dog, you know what I'm saying? And when you see that as a trainer, I felt like I felt that I had a responsibility to make sure, because even at that time, like I said, you know, he was still playing with Cali Stars and he was still trying to get noticed and everything like that. So it wasn't like, you know, where he's at now, where everybody knows him and wants him. He wasn't like that. But I saw the potential during that time, knowing like, wait a minute, okay, you know, it wasn't even about the skill. He has the mindset, you know what I'm saying? He's still not there mindset wise, but compared to most 17-year-olds, if you're talking about self-discipline, like I said, I got to tell him sometimes no to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, you're doing too much, you know? And sometimes I don't want to say that. Yeah, exactly. So
he's a dog.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That's a compliment.
Exactly. So yeah, man, like, you know, when we first met, you know, when I met him last it's been a year and a half now. Yeah. You know, and like I said, I just feel that where he's going right now and the progression, because like, it doesn't even matter right now where a lot of people are worried about, well, my rankings or the high school I went to. Like, I averaged 27. How come? Because I'm getting a lot of DMs like, how did Myron average 27? He's not getting no offers. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Right. Because I'm still like, I'm not even worried because I know, you know what I'm saying? All we need is somebody to see him, the right person to see him. Absolutely. You know, like I said, he's only 17. He's supposed to come back for his junior year of high school. No, he's supposed to be a senior next year. Yeah. So my thing has always been that let's just stick to the blueprint, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why he's going to Scotland Prep. Shout out to my boy, Sullivan Brown. I played with him in college. He's been watching, you know. Give him a splash. Yup. Sully. He's been watching the journey since day one, just like everybody else, but he has a platform. And as you know, a lot of it is about who you know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The politics of it. It is. Right? That's just how it is. There's a lot of talented kids out there, but if they're not guided the right way, they're just gonna be like everybody else. Yep. So my thought process during that time when I met him last summer, when it was still nobody knew who he was, is like, let's put in the work and everything else will just take care of itself. Which that's the case, because now with the COVID stuff, you know, okay, he didn't get to play AAU this year, but my mindset was like, well, that's fine. It doesn't really matter because you're about to go prep. So now you're gonna have that platform. You know, Scotland Prep is top 10 in the nation when it comes to prep schools. Nice. You know, so for a kid from Vacaville to be offered, you know, like they've been texting him, you know, for him to go out there. Prolific was actually interested. Prolific Prep actually was the first school. Didn't they come to one of your games? Yeah. Right? They wanted him local, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was just about fit and about, I know Sully. Right. And I know that he's my boy. He's going to take care of him. So now it's like he's going to go to the East Coast, you know, playing against top 100 high school players. And that's why we've been training. It wasn't to prepare him locally for Vacaville and Solano County. Right. We've been preparing him for the big stage. So yeah, man, that's my side of it. When it comes to Myron, you know what I'm saying? I put it like this, you know, if I had a kid when I was 15 years old, he's my son. You know what I'm saying? He's 17 where really I feel like that's one of the biggest things why he's doing what he's doing, because I always say, I believe it's not the skills work. Anybody can train. It's it's the mentality, and also it's, you know, the relationship that you build with your players. A lot of trainers are doing it for the money. You know what I'm saying? Myron can tell you, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm about the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things working with him is, you know, I know him like the back of my hand personally.
There you go.
And that's what, for me, you know, and he can tell you when he talks, you know, I be on that Phil Jackson stuff when I'm with him, the mind games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, if a player can master their mind, they can master life. And so the basketball part, that's easy.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with Myron. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be seeing him on TV, bro. We gonna be seeing him on TV. So that's why I think about him.
Well, you talk about that, Myron. I mean,
Yeah, when I met Mark from a friend, you know, he just told me to come out and see him. Went up with him, then trained with him. And thing is, we was late to training the first time, so I was like, man, he probably think I'm a slacker or something like this. And then really, when I got consistent, you know, I just felt it like, okay, let's just keep going to see where this goes. And then I think the first one-on-one session we had together, I think that's when it clicked. Like, this dude, he trusted me, and I got to put the trust back, and I'm gonna really invest this. And so as it kept going on, I mean, it's probably just like 4 months, and I felt like the bond was bigger than anything. It felt like a year already. And really just, I mean, staying the night at his house, waking up, going to training, staying late at his house. I mean, anything. I mean, we just created that chemistry and that bond, which I think really helped, because I'm like, he gonna invest all this time in me. I can't let him down, or I can't let my parents down, because I wouldn't even go home some days or see them some days, you know. They'd be like, oh, you finally home? Like, yeah.
No,
yeah,
good.
for real. And it's just like, I'm not gonna let them down, and you know, I'm not gonna let myself down, you know. So at this point, I'm just all in. And yeah, it really is like, you know, when we training, or I'm at his house chilling with him, it's like uncle, dad. It's like, it's more than just trainer, you know. Sometimes I forget about that. And yeah, he be playing. Now it's just with mind games. We don't even talk about the skill or hard work no more. How many times you working out a day. You know, I'm supposed to do that, and this is the mind games, you know. Now I'm surprised if he gonna text me how many times you studying your mental side a day, you know. And really, that's what I'm trying to focus on and keying on. And it's been working a lot, because from a year ago, anytime you play with my mind, I would break down, probably not even finish training session, you know. My mind just wasn't there. And now it's just, you know, it's at another level. And he's taking it to another level at the same time, where he really playing with my mind. Talking about, you know, he comparing me to Jordan in The Last Dance, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, bro, I'm only 17. How you gonna try to play that? I be telling the other players, like, bro, I'm like, he be getting on me, bro, and I'm only like 7. I'm not. I'll be like, bro, I'm unranked.
Man, you can't put MJ pressure on him. You saw what happened to Michael Jordan's kids, right?
But
shit, they retired. Shit, at age 16. Like, don't do that shit to him.
But nah, for real. But I like it though, because then I look back at the session, I'll be like, you know, I look back at it. Sometimes I laugh and be like, okay, well, I got to get better. And the next session, I'm going to do better. So each day, I'm going to keep progressing. And I know someday, by the time when it really counts, I'm going to be ahead of most people because of where I am now. And I just can't think. And I'm thankful for that, honestly, because he don't do that to everybody.
Right.
It ain't for everybody.
Yeah. It ain't. Now, if you ain't built for this shit, it's gonna show.
Yep.
So it sounds like those mental challenges help prepare you for this moment in front of you. You know what I mean? It's on you. It's on you, bro.
So one of the things, you know, knowing that, you know, we've been through this journey, and, you know, there was a couple schools, you know, that were interested in you. You know, I'll put it out there. Sac State wanted him.
Nice.
You know, something. You know, they went with an older kid, a more experienced kid, which is understandable.
Yeah.
You know, coming from a kid, you know, who doesn't have. Probably you can speak on this too. You know, when it comes to the recruiting process, I just assumed that it went by because, you know, there was no big name around MJ, you know what I'm saying, coming from where he was. Even though they were interested in him, they went another route, you know what I'm saying?
It depends. Like, I can personally tell you, and talking to a lot of college coaches, because, you know, I talk to a lot because of my ties with AAU and everything.
Yeah.
College, 35% of college recruits come from junior college. That's for sure. And the biggest pull for that is mainly money and a combination of understanding, right? If I can basically get a kid for half the price with more knowledge, more experience,
makes sense,
and understand a college structure, as opposed to taking a high school kid that the first year I have to invest and form and basically manipulate and turn this kid into a college player, then I might go that different route. You know what I mean? And it also depends on your situation as a coach. If you're top heavy with seniors and you're like, damn, I need an impact player, I'm gonna go with a JC junior, right? Because he can acclimate himself with those seniors right away. It's very rare to find an impact freshman and then be able to put him in a group of seniors and he's gonna just fit in very well. That's your Dukes, that's your Kentuckys, they can do that. But your typical Sac State, Chico, Dominican, Cal State East Bay, Holy Names, they can't do that. So it's lower cost, less investment, quicker return. Right? That's typically why most colleges will go JC route or go with an older guy. So it might not be a reflection of you. It might be a reflection of the coach's situation. Right?
And that's what I was telling him. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, things happen for a reason. Because we were very invested in him going to prep. And so basically my question to you is, knowing that, okay, we're about to stick to the plan, you going out to playing at Scotland Prep, you're going to the East Coast. What are your expectations? Like what's your mindset, going out there knowing that, coming from where you're coming from, you're not gonna be MJ from Vacaville, you're gonna be there basically with a target on your back and nobody really cares.
And basically, hold on before you answer, just so our audience knows and stuff, where is your school located?
It's in Scotland, Pennsylvania.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, basically what I want to do, basically just put my name out there, first with the school and everybody that's on the team and the organization, that I'm here, I'm ready to win. Whoever's gonna be on that court with me, we gonna win together, and that and basically just show them that I could play like a kid from California could play ball, because I know not many California kids going to the East Coast get that much love. And I don't care if they show me love. I'm gonna show them that what my game does and that I'm gonna let it all on the court. And honestly, my expectation for myself is I'm gonna develop, get better each and every day. Every day, every hour counts for me over there, and that basketball is gonna be my best friend. And all I can do is just do my best, and that's all I could expect. And I know the sky's the limit, and whatever happens for a reason.
Well, what at the end of this, what's the end game goals as well, and then we'll talk about the music portion after that. But what's your end game goal?
To make it to the NBA, nothing short. And once I make it there, I'm championships, MVPs, all-star games. I'm
talking big.
Everything that comes with it, the money, the cars. Everything, the people I touch, the inspiring kids, endorsements. Everything. I'm coming for everything.
That's
and
good. It all starts with a dream.
It all starts
with a dream.
Once that big picture comes, once that main goal gets to the league, everything else will fall into place, and that's what I'm hoping for.
I like it. So what is so when it comes to other hobbies besides basketball, you know what I'm saying? We all know that you love basketball. You're obsessed with basketball. What are other things, you know what I'm saying, that you love doing, like outside of basketball?
You talked on the music part. I want to hear about that one. I want to hear about the music part.
Music. I've been loving music since I first loved basketball.
Okay.
I would always, since a kid, just write some lyrics, just whatever pops in my mind. I feel like just writing lyrics in general, not even having to record, just releases so much like that you have stuck inside, and you write it on paper. It gets a lot out, and that's why I use I used it more in life than basketball, because basketball, whatever happens on the court stays on the court. But life in general, I use music to, just to release some stress, release some anger. It's just me and that paper and pen, or me on my iPhone just typing, and it really just relieved stress and made me happy. That's another thing. Just with music, it made me happy. It was my cloud that I could find.
Nice.
And really, yeah, I want to. you know, when I end up getting up there in the league, I want to, you know, open some doors for some other young rappers who want to make it big.
You can start your own label.
Yeah. So what's up, man? You got any bars? Any freestyle? You know what I'm saying?
Why are you gonna put him on the spot like that?
Hey,
Nah,
wait.
Who fly first?
Okay. 'Cause I'm about to say, I mean, this is Bout That Life. If you Bout That Life, I mean,
I knew you was gonna do. I was like, I was waiting. I was like, he was gonna put his ass on the spot. I know he.
I thought it was gonna be you. I was like, I do not be freestyling.
I don't want to put you up. I don't want to put that pressure on you.
It's cool.
I can't right now.
Hey,
nah.
okay.
I'm interested in that. I mean, I like a lot of comedy too. I'll be messing around a lot.
Oh, okay.
I'll be messing around a lot.
You good? No, I use you guys know Childish Gambino, right? Donald Glover. I use him as an example because that motherfucker is the utility knife of the industry. There you can act, he did comedy, he can do what, be that.
Versatile. He
Be
versatile.
That man set the bar. Like if he decided to real legit do a podcast, I'm like, well, that's it for me because he's fucking taking the whole internet. So that'd be about it. But no, man. My question for the whole music part is, you know, with as you progress with your basketball, right? If you do decide to pursue this fashion, because the reason I bring it up is because I actually coached a player. It just kind of clicked in my head. I coached a player who won a national Bigfoot championship for me, who's actually a rapper right now. He's actually like really famous and popular. Random as shit, because I didn't even know. Like, you know, he hit me up and he's like, Coach, man, I haven't seen you in a minute, and I love this kid to death. You know, he's like a son to me, and he's had a pretty hard life, but he's doing much better now. But then I look at his Instagram, he's got like fucking 50,000 followers. And all of a sudden I look on YouTube and my kids listen to him. The kids I coach. His name's DB Bout That Life.
Oh.
See this shit? See?
I slap him a lot. That's one of the ones I play.
I coach him.
Yeah, I mess with his music heavy for
like
real.
I could literally call him right now and he'll be like, Coach, what's up, Coach?
That's crazy. A lot of hoopers Bracy coached this used to coach this one hooper named Slimmy B.
Yeah.
And Bracy always be talking to me about him. And I'd be like, try to get him out here to play.
It's crazy. Derek said when he comes back to visit, he wants to be on my show. So that should be interesting having Derek on the show because he went from a hooper to a rapper pothead. So I'm trying to,
He's really big though. A lot of people know.
Right. See, you've heard his stuff.
Yeah.
I think his most famous song right now is Fettuccine.
Yeah,
that's the one. All these kids.
Okay.
I never tell you, it's crazy.
He has a lot coming up though. He about to touch another mill on one video. He already got like a couple of them.
Like he could tell you that he's really and to me he's just Derek. So in
That's
case y'all want to know, his name's fucking Derek. DB. I don't call him
that's
DB.
Funny because I got a cousin or a bit older brother who I grew up with. He a rapper now. You know his name. People be like at school playing his music. You know I'm just. It's
just funny. Like that's just someone you know, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just I feel very proud. That's dope. That I coach. Not like I said, not only coaching me, won me a national championship.
That's sick.
To watch his evolution. And what I'm saying with that is, you know, he applies the same passion he had with basketball to his craft with music.
Nice.
So I'm saying, for you, my suggestion to you is, you know, you do the same, because you never know where life can take you.
Yeah.
And if you can do both, I mean, like, you know, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, translated from basketball extremely well to win a damn Academy Award. So you never know where any of this can take you.
Yeah, the interest. Yeah, I definitely, because once as I, you know, my name starts growing or this and that, anything that I love or my hobbies I also want to take into place. Because, you never know, because that can even bring more, you know, money or bring more, just open the doors for everything, you know. So, yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, let's talk about some current events, because, I mean, you know, it's coming around the corner, and that's the NBA. The NBA is coming back, man. And, you know, that's exciting news to me, because I know I love the NBA just as much as I hope anybody else would. But it is going to, with things the way they are day to day, week to week, as you can clearly see if you have a fucking cell phone, which I think is like 90% of the world right now. You know, July 30th is when the NBA is scheduled to start in Orlando. 13 Western Conference teams, 9 Eastern Conference teams. But there's some issues going on right now. You know, Florida is one of the hot spots of COVID You know what I mean? They said, read one report, it was 11,000 cases in one day.
Wow.
Right? The overall total right now in Florida is over 123,000 cases of COVID.
Wow.
In Orlando alone, it's 2,008.
Damn.
So,
and that's where all the NBA
that's where
players
he's going to play. That's where he's going to play. And I think they're going to stay out there too or something like that, right?
3 months, I think.
Stay in hotels.
Yeah, so it's like how, I mean, we don't know, but I guess we could speculate. How do you think they're going to keep those guys safe?
Man, well, I mean, from everything I'm hearing, you know, with them being in that little bubble or whatever, very, very strict guidelines, you know, with everything. You know, just seeing some of the players posting some of their stuff, you know, with their food and the things that they have to do and everything like that. This definitely isn't the typical NBA lifestyle. Yeah. But at the same time, I forgot who was I listening to. I think it was Kendrick Perkins, or was it Jalen Rose? It was somebody. I just know a former hooper was talking about, because, you know, a lot of the NBA players are kind of complaining, a few of them.
Yeah.
Where in all reality, I mean, if you a real hooper, 3 months of just playing basketball in a hotel,
right. True.
I'm cool with that.
It's not like they don't stay in 5-star accommodations. You know they do, because they are invested. I can get their side of things as well. It's just on the human aspect.
For sure.
But, you know, you got to think that the NBA is going to protect their investment, right? They're gonna do everything they can to make sure these guys are safe. They're going to make sure everything is, you know, monitored, taken care of, make sure everybody is, you know, gloves are everywhere, masks are everywhere, like only specific chefs, only specific numbers of staffing, you know. There's obviously going to be no fan attendance, so you know, I don't even think they can have their families there, or maybe they can have like one family member or something. So
I saw on ESPN they said that they all have like this beeper that they have to put in their pocket, that if they're too close to somebody that's not 6 feet, it'll start beeping. So she was saying that you can hear the beeps all over the place.
Wow.
You know, so they're very strict, you know what I'm saying, knowing that, okay, if you too close to somebody, you're going to start beeping.
And in case people are too young to know what a fucking beeper is, it's this little it's this little box that you keep on your side. I think doctors still use those, but you keep on your side and it beeps anytime you're too close to somebody. We used to call them pagers back in the days before your time. You too young. But it's, you know, like we didn't have cell phones. Someone would page you, and you'd find a payphone, and you'd have to call the number that paged you, and you'd be like, someone call Chris.
I've seen those on shows, though. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, it just tells them who's calling them, and they just have to go to. They still got to pay for the phone.
Yeah, you got to pay for the phone. Hey, that shit sucked. Yeah, that's why you had a bunch of people walking around with quarters and shit all the time. That's how you know I'm getting old, man.
People be throwing away they change now. These days.
Exactly. Right. So, what do you think? What's your thoughts on the whole NBA thing?
Man, I mean, for me, just because I'm a fan, I mean, I'm glad it's coming back on, but it's different. I mean, it's just weird because you know that no fans gonna be there. You know, it's just like you wish that everybody stays safe, and they just gotta be. I just think they just gonna stay in that bubble. They can't. It's gonna be strict for them to even get out of it or just go even try to enjoy themselves, because they really gotta take care of themselves and hope that they come out healthy. Everybody comes out healthy out of this. And there's people that aren't participating, right? There's NBA players that are saying no. So let's talk a list about some of those. I'm just looking on the phone real quick. You got Trevor Ariza, who's decided not to participate. Avery Bradley, that's obviously your team, Mark. So you know,
especially with J.R. Smith.
Yeah, right. Couple irrelevant guys too. Willie Cauley-Stein, he's not irrelevant. I'm not Willie, but the guy just passed up. I'm just not even worth saying his name. Willie Cauley-Stein, he's not coming back. Wilson Chandler, Tabitha Falosha, Tayshaun Prince, DeAndre Jordan. There's just more and more.
I heard Gordon Hayward, he's not coming because he doesn't want to miss the birth of his child.
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense.
I think I think there was Kyrie Irving, right? John Wall.
Kyrie's not playing.
Yeah, they're not. And I mean, these are impact players. These are revenue generating players. You know, when it's like, you know, when it's Rudy Gobert, it's like, oh, he's a fucking role player. He deserves COVID. You know, it don't matter. But but you know, I'm not. Hey, it's just is what it is. I'm just saying. Like
he started it.
I'm just we about that life here. I'm just gonna say it's real.
Touch him on 2K.
Exactly. No, exactly. This man deserves Defensive Player of the Year. He shut down the whole fucking NBA with his stop. Like,
damn.
But you know, okay, straight up, top 3 players playing in this. If one of them got COVID, that whole shit is done. Let's just go to the very top.
Yep.
LeBron James. Read that fucking headline. Imagine that headline. LeBron James positive for COVID-19. What the fuck you think happens to the NBA?
Right, man.
Right.
It wouldn't even be the same.
Yeah, everything comes to a screeching halt. Like
they gonna pop that bubble. That's what's gonna happen.
Everything. So that's, to me, that's the crazy part. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, when it's Rudy Gobert, it's like,
when the big player gets it, they like, you know, nothing even working, so why even keep trying?
Like, let JaVale McGee get COVID. They're gonna be like, well, yeah, it's JaVale. He's shacking the fool. He gonna do some dumb shit like that. But let LeBron get it, bro.
Or Giannis, anybody that's contending to win a championship.
Oh, it's going. They're gonna be like, oh no, we're done. We're done till 2022. Like, you guys just got to figure it out. So, you know, I really do, you know, hope those guys stay safe, because at the end of the day, and this is another thing, parents and players and just people, if there's any random people that just hear our show, see our show, and understand, we as basketball players understand this, but you guys need to hear this. These guys are human. You know, I know you forget that sometimes because they put on jerseys, they're larger than life icons. You know, they're big human beings in general, but they are human. They have kids, they have families, they have loved ones, they have people that want to see them healthy and want to see them okay. You know, you don't know everybody's everything. Some of these guys might have asthma. Some of these guys might have underlying issues that they never even know about. Some of these guys might have benign tumors that they don't want exposed. Like, you don't know. And from what I'm understanding with this virus, it puts everything else at risk. So, you know, I really do hope the NBA and everybody out there does their due diligence to keep these guys safe, because nobody deserves an early death. Nobody deserves death that is very preventable. You know what I mean? And it just comes down to common sense and being safe. But on a more positive note, who do we got winning? Who we picking?
Lakers. LA, baby. Purple and gold.
What a surprise.
Purple and gold. I mean, if LeBron James want to be the GOAT, right? I feel like I'm in a win-win situation because, you know, I'm a Kobe Jordan guy. So if he want to be the GOAT, he got to win it for us. If he don't, he ain't the GOAT.
All right.
What about you?
That Avery Bradley was big, though.
Yes, it was.
I switched. I got Clippers, man, because the defense.
True.
Kawhi.
And plus playoffs, you slowing the game down.
True. True.
Who you got?
I don't even have a dog in this fight because I'm a Warriors fan. I'm from Oakland, California. Let me make that clear. I'm a real Warriors fan in case anybody out there got to question that shit. I'm a real Warriors fan, okay? I was with us when we sucked, okay? when we had like Keith Jennings and
Tickets
guys you never, exactly. They were giving them free at my high school. I was at Oakland Tech, and a Warriors rep came. You want some Warriors tickets? Hell no. I want to enjoy my Saturday night. I don't want to. I'm not going to the game. Like, that's how bad we were. Okay, so let me make that very clear before people are like, oh, you on the bandwagon. Anybody knows me knows I ain't on no damn bandwagon. I don't want to say this because I really just something about me. Let me get y'all so y'all understand my background. I like LeBron as a player, kind of.
Okay.
I love LeBron as the man, the person, because he has done amazing things. Period, for the black community, everything in general. But I still don't like him. It's something about just the way he moves. Maybe the flopping. It's just something about it just makes me like, I don't want you to win. But to me, it's the Clippers or Lakers, man. I know I should probably want to pick someone in the East Coast, but in the Eastern Conference, I just don't. I don't see it, man.
So if we're talking, so I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit, basketball wise, you know. So if we're talking about basketball, okay, it's Western Conference Finals, Lakers, Clippers. If we're talking about basketball as a coach, right, as a student of the game, Who are you taking? Clippers or the Lakers? If you're talking about I know you got something with LeBron, but let's just talk about basketball X's and O's, talent-wise. Who you got? If you're a betting man.
If I'm a betting man, I really do have.
Thinking.
I have the Clippers.
Okay.
The Clippers in 7, and let me explain why. Okay, I feel the Clippers have more bodies to throw at LeBron and Anthony Davis than the Lakers necessarily do. Now, don't get me wrong. With Dwight and JaVale and some of those guys who really stepped into their roles and doing their thing, I absolutely think they're in. Isn't Danny Green still with them too, right? Yeah. So I absolutely think it's one hell of a battle. However, there's just this. When I look at the Clippers, I feel that roster's built for playoff basketball.
Yeah.
When I look at the Lakers, I feel they're built for regular season basketball, and those are two different seasons.
Yeah.
People from the outside don't get it, but players know what I'm talking about. It's two different seasons, you know. So, when the game gets grittier and grimier and uglier, you got guys like Pat Bev who live for that shit. Right? You got guys like Kawhi who live for that shit. You
Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, I just feel like they're built for the gritty, ugly, grimy basketball side. But not to say like the Lakers ain't either. I just haven't seen the Lakers tap into that side. Let me put it like that. I've seen them play enough that I feel like they coast through a lot of their wins. Very similar to what the Warriors were doing when they had their amazing 70-something win season. You know what I mean? Like you could tell like there was just times like they could turn it on, and I feel like the Lakers can do that too. Yeah. But again, there's a reason Houston hasn't gotten a title. You know what I mean? Like they're too much of a regular great season team. Yeah. I think the Lakers and Clippers, there's just going to be some 50-50 plays, because that's just basketball, especially in playoff. There's so many 50-50 plays that you can circle back going through playoff history that you're like, damn, if that would have bounced the other way, or if that basketball would have made this layup. I mean, there was one where Tim Duncan missed like a wide open layup. I think it was against LeBron at the time.
Miami? You talking about that?
It was
shot?
Miami.
Ray Allen.
Yeah, well, the Ray Allen shot, where Chris Bosh tips it out to Ray Allen. It's one of the most fucking prolific threes that in a playoff ever. I mean, those are the 50-50 balls, right? Those plays really define playoff basketball to me. Yeah. I just see that Clippers roster winning more of those 50-50 balls than the Lakers. Okay. But that's just what I see. Okay. But again, I don't know, because when you factor in the Anthony Davis-LeBron factor and the way LeBron does, because the numbers don't lie, the way he can turn up and kick it up another notch in the playoffs, it's so hard to tell. But then you have the counterbalance with Kawhi, because Kawhi, it's weird. It's not so much like he turns up. It's just more. It's a steady evolution. Like LeBron just flips. LeBron just flips a switch and I'm scoring 40. I'm scoring 50. I'm scoring 30. I'm scoring 40. I'm scoring 50. Kawhi's like, I'm gonna have 27, but I'm gonna have 10 rebounds,
and I'm gonna lock up,
right, and lock up. I'm gonna have 32, but I'm going to have, 7 assists, 11 rebounds, 5 steals. You know what I mean? It's just these weird increments with him. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. But I personally think Clippers in 7. No hate on LeBron and the Lakers, even though I'm not a fan. It still could go either way. I still think it's going to be one of those two teams.
To win it all?
Yeah, to win it all. I just think it's going to be one of those two. No knock on the Eastern Conference, but...
No Greek freak? You ain't feeling him?
He got to get a jump shot first. Okay. He got to get a jump. He's just a more athletic, extremely taller workhorse, Ben Simmons. To me. You know what I mean? Like, so, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Should be fun, though.
Right? So, respectfully disrespectful. We gotta talk about this part. This is a part of the show, for those who might just be their first time tuning in, where we're gonna talk about a controversial topic in either AAU or just basketball in general. And everything we say is with respect, but it is gonna be disrespectful. And so we're gonna talk some real talks and maybe might ruffle some feathers, and don't really give a shit, because that's why we're here, and to just talk about the reality of basketball in AAU. The question I pose to you, Mark, and Myron, you jump in on any of this. Don't feel like you just sitting there being an outsider, because you're the guy. You're the young man that's in AAU and understand this. can players evolve past an AAU program? And what I mean by that is, you know, I'll try to say it as quickly as possible because I don't want to sit here and talk for, you know, 3 hours. But AAU programs are basically split into two groups. There's independent AAU programs, right? And there's even tiers to that level. But there's independent programs. Like, for instance, my program is what you would define as an independent program, just an extremely high level and efficient independent program, right? And then there's the other group, which is the shoe circuit programs, which is where they get all the money, all the sponsorship, all the gear. Typically the best kids in the country play for these programs because it gives them the platform and exposure to go to these D1s and be seen by the Coach K's, the Roy Williams, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Any team that's sponsored by Under Armour, Adidas, or Nike. I even heard, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I heard Converse or Puma is trying to get into this game too.
Okay.
So so everybody understands it's really about money. Let me make that very clear. These shoe companies care about the kids, but again, they don't. They look at them as free advertisement. You know, you got kids like, how many followers does Mikey Williams have?
I think 1 million.
I think that kid is like over 1 million followers. You get him to sign a Nike contract, that is literally 1 million free advertisement for these for these companies. So let me make that. Let's just call it what it is. Shoe programs want to make money. They look at, if I invest 500, think about it. For LeBron James is a great example. Nike before that young man, and I'm talking about when he was 18, before that young man even stepped on a basketball court, he had $100 million, $150 million or something like that dollar check from Nike. Think about that. Before he touched the basketball, they were like, here's $150 million. Okay, let's say Uncle Sam took $50 million of it. He still had $100 million fucking dollars he took home, right? How much money do you think LeBron has made from 18 to where he's at now for Nike?
Man,
clearly a lot of money.
For sure.
Somewhere in the millions, billions.
Close to billions,
right?
probably.
So for Nike, they're like, okay, we'll invest $15. You're going to make us $1 billion. That's, I mean, that's $150 million for Nike at this point. That's $15. You know what I mean? That's $20 to them. So, you know, with these two groups, where we're coming back to the question is, as an independent program, you know, when you have kids who it's just outgrown your program, they're just too good for your program. You know, you have this question of loyalty versus growth. That's what you're challenged with as a coach and a trainer. And Ted, when he was here on our show, said a great point. He said you have to learn how to not take credit, right? And coaches and trainers, we're fallible of that. You know what I mean? Like, of course, Mark would love for you on your signing day at whatever university, or it's shit, like you said, your dream to go to the league, your signing day in the league, you get on that mic and you say, man, I really got to give a big shout out to my trainer, you know, Coach MJ. He's been there, he's been with me through it all. But let's say you don't do that. For whatever reason, you're swept up in the moment. Doesn't mean you don't give a shit about him, but say you're swept up in the moment, you just don't think about it because, you know, you're just so overwhelmed and happy. You know, he, on his part, he has to be okay with that. That's on all our parts. We have to be okay with that and not feel like I'm jaded or you're fucked up for not mentioning me, right? Because then that's a selfish emotion. We're having a selfish reaction where it's like, oh, you ain't gonna mention me, but I did all this for you. I did all, you know. And I think as coaches and trainers, we have to learn how to do that because it is hard and it can sting a little. You know what I mean? Because we're human, just like anybody else. So, you know, I'm trying to get basically your guys' thoughts on players evolving past the independent AAU programs. What do you guys think about that?
Well, for me, you know what I'm saying, I feel that it's such a tough question, you know what I'm saying, because I've even talked to parents, and like you know what I'm saying, like I'm not in the AAU world, right? You know, and I'm learning all this stuff from you, you know what I'm saying, just learning all this stuff and my side of it. You know, just talking to parents who have a kid, you know what I'm saying, who's very, very talented, you know, and of course everybody wants to make sure that their kid is in a good situation to be seen so they can get to the next level, right? Like what do you do knowing that you have others who've been there since day one, who's been working with them and stuff like that, where you have another situation where you can play for a team that, okay, you may not have a relationship there, but you know, man, you're just right there from becoming known, from getting that notoriety and all that. So where's that line? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you listen to your parents? You know what I'm saying? Do you listen to the coaches and the trainers? Where at the end of the day, which I truly believe it is the player's decision, but at the same time, we're talking about 15, 14, 16-year-old kids who live with their parents and who don't pay rent. And so sometimes you really can't, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like everybody's in a different situation. I think for me personally, from what I've been just observing, you know, I've been doing this training thing for 2 years now, you know, and just seeing all these different stories and all these different situations. It's like, me personally, I'm all about trying to get to the route as fast as I can. You know, that's me.
Right.
That's just me, because you don't know when you're going to get injured.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, all this work that you put in, right? And if you believe that you're good enough, if you believe that the work that you, because remember, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody got different levels. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing. Like, you can work as hard as you can and you still might not make it, but you might make it to a certain level. Absolutely. Right? Like for me and you, right? Us playing, you know, we both play college, we both play professional. Yeah. My dream was to go to the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like that was you know what I'm saying? But I worked as hard as I could. Of course, I didn't have proper guidance like how I kind of have with some of my players in MJ, but I worked as hard as I could. I tried to figure out how to get there. Okay, I played in Southeast Asia. That's where I was at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I always go back to if of course, you know, I have a son. Right. Also MJ, Mark Anthony Jr. Shout out to MJ. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I got MJ anyways. Right.
Splash on that one.
So my mindset has always been, you know what I'm saying? I know you have kids, like going through the experiences that I went through, and you've said it too with your high school coach, and you said that this is why you do what you do, is because I went through those experiences. That's why I study the game so much now, you know what I'm saying, to help certain players. I'm gonna be real right now. I help all players, but I don't help all players the same, because every player is different in mentality and what they want. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. I'll ask all my kids. They all will say they want to play NBA. All of them will say that. But let's be real. You know what I'm saying? If you really look at your work ethic, if you look at your physical talent, if you look at where you're at, and this is from somebody who really believed that I thought I could make it, it won't turn out like that. But there is a blueprint. So my thing is like, it's not just the training, it's who you surround yourself with, what organizations you put yourself into, you know what I'm saying? And if I can go back in the past, I would definitely try to change things. And so that's why, like with my, like knowing that, okay, I have a son coming up who's still a baby, knowing that as I go through this process with all my players, like MJ, right? Who I'm like, all right, we got to do this. You got to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it. I'm just giving you my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen these other kids who are as talented as you do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's tough. You know what I'm saying? To tell somebody where, okay, that, well, I think that if I stay in this situation, it can still get me to the top, which is true. It can. It can. But my thing is like, man, I just know from personal experience, you know what I'm saying? If you take this route, I think this would be the best chance. So it's tough, because I've even talked to parents who are like, yeah, I am not your son's father. You know what I'm saying? I am just the trainer. So like you said, like, I'm not going to take any credit, you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. Because at the same time, I believe in, at the end of the day, is the work will speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? The time that's spent, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, a kid don't got to give me a shout out at all. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm hoping that during that process that we were together, you learned that this is what's going to prepare me for the next level, and this is what's going to prepare me to make the right decisions. So that's how I feel like that's where I'm at with it, is just that you got to make the best decision for yourself. And if you're really, really about that life, to try to make it to the next level, you have to do everything right. You really do. You know what I'm saying? And that's, to me, from everything that I've learned and everything that I've studied and talking to people who are at that level and who have players at that level and who've reached out to me like, hey, yo, man, you know, MJ, I think MJ got it. Like, hey, let me send you this. You know, I got this coach from player development from the Phoenix Suns, my player who plays for so-and-so, I won't say any names, you know what I'm saying, here, take this information to help so-and-so.
Nice.
You know, I'm not going to show this information to every kid because they have to, you really have to be worthy. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, if you only showing up and your parents really believe that you are the one, but you only seeing me twice a week, I'm not going to share you that information. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a waste compared to the kid that every single day shows up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give him all the cheat codes, everything. So that's where I'm at right now with that. I'm very when it comes to stuff like this, just because I'm going through this process for the first time, I want to make sure that it's right. For not just for MJ, for all my players, because I got some young up and coming killers too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. They know who they are. Nice. So my thing is like, MJ's leading by example. I'm trying to make sure that you guys are taking the right path. Just if you're about that life, then be about that life. Simple as that.
So then let's talk, you know, Myron, I want to talk about your story a little bit because Mark was telling me something about it, about, you know, you were with Rampage, or your plan was to be with Rampage this past season before COVID hit, correct?
Yeah.
Right. But I know you had interest from other AAU programs, correct? Yeah. Which program or programs had maybe approached you or talked to you?
Team Lake Show did. They got in contact with me.
Okay.
It was hard, the decision, because it was like because I knew Lake Show was sponsored. They're
on the Adidas, right?
Yeah,
they're Adidas, right? Yeah.
And then
I think the gold gauntlet, correct?
Yeah,
okay. Just want to make sure I got that right.
And I've seen them in previous tournaments. They go to. I mean, it's promising. Like they really go to tournaments where they put you on the platform.
They're not a bad program. I've had a lot of good experience with them. One of the coaches at Lake Show, Benny Gibson, is a good buddy of mine. He actually, let me make sure I give a splash to Benny for that one, because he actually trains my son in Oakland.
Oh,
so yeah,
okay.
he trains my son. So you know, appreciate you, Benny, and all the work you do. But no, keep going.
And then with Rampage, you know, I just built a bond with them the year, so I was looking forward to the next year with them. And we were just an up-and-coming team where we were getting there. We were just not at that point yet. But that was our goal, though, to get to those big-time AAU teams, to get sponsored, this and that. And that decision, I chose Rampage, you know, just not out of loyalty, but because I knew I felt at the time I would develop faster and quicker with who I was running with at the time, and that my game would be shown more with them than being with Lake Show. Because at the same time, that past AAU season with Rampage, I didn't dominate every single game where I showed everybody that I was the best, and you know, on the court or in the tournament or that. So that's why I felt that I did need that extra year with them just to develop, and just and I knew we were going to get exposure even then because of how talented and young we were. So there was no question that that even with Rampage, it wouldn't be. It was just a win-win situation. It was just what situation was better. And even then with kids who have, you know, hard decisions with that, I just feel like if you're not dominating with that AAU team that you're with and the tournaments that you're in, then what's there to change about? You know, unless you're truly dominating that team in that tournament or anything that you're doing with them, then you shouldn't move up, you know?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And I get it. And I mean, you know, it's always interesting for you players, and I guess getting a player's perspective, because as a coach, I don't like to put pressure on players. I don't like making them have to choose programs if I can avoid it. But, you know, like for the most part, I'm always trying to, you know, do the right things or make sure these things happen. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties. Some dumbasses knocking on my studio door. What the hell was that? What the hell the fuck was that? Like, goddamn. And he kept knocking, motherfucker.
Like the police.
Like, no, motherfucker. What the hell? Whatever. Sorry about that, y'all. You know, running a goddamn business here. But getting back to what I was trying to say is I think, you know, you do have to. There is give and take, and it sucks. I never want to put pressure on a player. I never want them to feel like you have to choose between me and another program. But as a coach, you do have to acknowledge when players have grown past your program. I had a kid, Malik Rose, and Jack Andre, and a whole bunch of other kids who, this is what I think. I don't believe in moving laterally. Like, I'm going to talk shit if a kid moves laterally. What I mean by that is, if you're going to go from my program to a program like PHPS, Matt Barnes Elite, I don't know, Rose City or whatever, to me that's lateral. You know, not to say they're bad programs, but to me I don't think they're above mine. They're not putting you on a platform that I easily couldn't do myself. On top of the fact, let me just make this clear in case for those who don't know or don't know me. Okay, I pretty much have contacts in every single part of California going down to the Midwest. I have a lot of college contacts. I know a lot of college coaches. I mean, literally, I know the coach. I mean, and I don't mean I know them. Like, I mean, I have their personal cell phone numbers and can shoot them a text damn near anytime. You know, holy names, Cal State East Bay, Chico State, Dominican, BYU, you know, Cal State Fullerton, Cal Poly, you know, Stanislaus State. You take your pick. I know the colleges. I know the people. I know the people to get in touch with. So my players have a very big track record of making it to college. However, I do acknowledge that these shoe companies put them on a platform that I can't. And because of that, for like my nephew Anthony, you know, I partner with these guys like West Coast Elite who are on the Under Armour circuit, and Anthony plays for their top 16U national travel team. Nice. Right? Who's backed by a billionaire, by the way. He plays with them, and he plays for me. You know what I mean? I know the head EYBL coach for the Oakland Soldiers, Marshall Collins. You know, big shout out to Marshall. That's my guy. He's the head coach at Alameda College. I send players his way. You know, I've tried to broker players with him. I recognize when I have kids, like I said, like a Malik Rose, who have grown past me. And what I mean by me is not my ability to coach, not my ability to teach, but the platform that I can provide, right? Because I can't put them in front of Duke. I can't put them in front of Kentucky, Syracuse. I can't. I could put you in front of Sac State. I could put you in front of Chico. I could put you, you know what I mean? There's levels to it, right? And I can't get to that top level. But I'll broker and push through for the other kids. My brother jokingly says all the time, because his my brother in Portland has his own program, International Elite. He says all the time, he says, you're the only coach that has circuit teams that's not on the circuit. He says it all the time. He says, all your teams belong on the circuit. You just aren't there. And a big part of the reason is I'm not going to pay $15,000 to $20,000 to any of you goddamn juice shoe companies to get on your circuit. Because basically all that happens is once I get on your circuit, you're just going to try to take all my most talented kids. So why am I even going to shoot myself in the foot? Yeah. So what I tell my kids is I said, one of you motherfuckers need to become a top ESPN 100 and then we'll be on the circuit. So I put the pressure on them. I'm not going to put it on me. Yeah. I've learned that, you know, my program is what it is. We're good at what we do. And we get a lot more kids to college than not. So I'm not going to try to stress about getting to that top tier level. But again, for coaches out there, you got to be willing to let go. You got to be okay with just watching the success and being on the sideline and not necessarily being directly in the midst of it. Doesn't mean you weren't a part of it. Doesn't even mean you weren't a big part of it. But you got to be willing to let it go. You got to be saying, you know what? I've done my job. I've done my part. He or she is ready. That's enough for me, right? Because like you said, Mark, the product speaks for itself. Yep. And I feel the exact same way. So, you know, no disrespect, again, to any of the coaches and the work that you do, the legit coaches, not the fucking recruiters that just basically, you know, try to recruit every top talented kid instead of actually coaching. Yeah. I mean, for the guys who invest
and develop,
right? Like, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. You are great people. You are doing great things. However, you do have to understand there is a ceiling to what we can do personally. If you are one of the top shoe company coaches, then you're in a good spot. You ain't got much to worry about. Sure. But if you're not one of those, which is probably like 98% of the rest of AAU, you got to be okay with letting your players go and just know or hope that they remember all the work and things you've done. And if they don't, that's on them. That's a character flaw of them. That's not on you. It's not a reflection on you. So, you know, that's pretty much all I got to say about that as well. So,
preach.
You know, that's about it. So, we're going to go into, you know, the more funny aspects of AAU because, again, had another weekend at courtside. As Tet would say, I win everything. So you know, that's more for you, Tet. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a splash your way, bro, because I know you love talking shit about how I win everything and coach everything and got the tallest teams and all that. But yeah, my teams won a lot this weekend. My 16 won. My 7th grade won, my 5th grade won. My 5th grade played amazing, by the way. I was so proud of them. They were out there. Okay. They're my itty bitties, man. You gotta watch them play one day, bro. Yeah. It's funny watching them play. But they worked hard. We beat Peyton's Place. That's Gary Payton's program. Okay. And you know, they're a great program. Great teams. They were very tough, very tenacious. They really had to make my guys work for it. We only won by 3. So you know, definitely. Wow. Shout out to you guys and your coaches, because I think you guys did a phenomenal job. But you know, like I said, moving on into our next segment, we're gonna go, you know, into hell no, right? You know, and funny enough, it's about my nephew Anthony. So you know, we're gonna talk it again. Hell no, on my mama, your ass is stupid as hell and needs to make some right decisions. So, what happened this weekend was my nephew decided to get into a fist fight at the tournament. Yeah, you know. And I'll give you guys the quick version because, like I said, don't want to drag on, but basically got into a jump ball. So you guys understand, my nephew's like 6'7", you know, he's a bigger kid, right? He picks the kid up off the ground because the kid won't let go of the ball and throws him on the ground. He then stands over him, flexing his skinny ass muscles like he's buff or something. Like, dude, you ain't... What are you, 185? Like, whatever. But he stands over him, right, flexing the skinny muscles. And then one of the kids from Peyton's Place shoves the shit out of him from the back. Ooh. Like, get off my player, shoves him. At that point, he then turns around, and, I mean, haymakers are flying. They start punching. I'm not coaching this, by the way. I'm just spectating. He's playing for another team. So then I run on the court. I have to get a parent, you know, push a parent out the way, push another parent, hold a player, and then finally get to my nephew, pick him up off the ground. You know, I'm 6'5", he's 6'7", so I literally have to pick his skinny ass up off the ground and hold him, throw his ass on the other court, and I'm calm him down. And I'm like, you are dumb as hell right now. Like, what if this would have been a showcase? What if this would have been colleges in front of you, right? You guys know the impact of that, like, and I get it. In basketball culture, fists go flying sometimes. I get it, man. But you got to do better than that. But the best part is, the bright side of this story, we resolved it pretty cool. We got the players that he got into it with, and got my nephew, and we got them to shake hands and just talk and, you know, show each other love. Because the biggest reason, even more so that for me, in this day and age, we're dealing with COVID, we're dealing with police brutality, we're dealing with, you know, #MeToo, we're dealing with, you know, Black Lives Matter. We're dealing with a lot of shit right now. That's just the reality of it. And I'm all about teachable moments, and I thought that was a very teachable moment, especially because these were some young black kids from the Bay, my nephews, you know, young black kid, and I'm all for teaching and trying to do things the right way, you know. So I made them shake hands. They seemed cool after that. Everything was good after that. But even still, Anthony, you were stupid as hell for getting into a fist fight, because again, that's a college showcase. You ain't getting not one goddamn scholarship. Damn. So that's one piece of it. The other piece, which I'm sure you two can actually jump in on more than this. So this week, for my 5th grade games this morning, I had to deal with a parent talking to my 11-year-old, calling him soft. I had a parent friend, and this is why exactly. This is why I say parents are fucking assholes, right? Parents in AAU are just, what Ted say? Passionate? Yeah, okay. No, I don't call it that. Like, I call it, you're a jerk, you're an asshole, and you probably didn't play much hoop yourself. Basically, my kids are playing, they're balling, competitive game. He starts saying, man, they're soft. They're soft. Like, they, you know, they soft as shit. They can't do nothing. I'm saying, you're a grown man talking about 11-year-old. 11-year-old. I wish I would have got the guy's name. I'll put his ass on blast right now, but I didn't get his name. But I'm telling you, Peyton's Place, if you hear me on this, if your 5th grade coach hear me on this, get that guy out your crowd. He's giving y'all a bad look. That's a guy you don't need to have coming at the game. Have you guys ever seen some, or experience, well, for you, maybe experience some parents that were way too out of pocket with the stuff they were saying?
Yeah, I remember when we was younger, playing on Cali Stars, just because we played so hard and physical, because we wanted to win so bad. there'd be some parents, you know, talking about us, you know, just we're some young black kids just trying to win, you know, trying to, you know, make a name for ourselves. So some parents here and there would say something, and our parents would get fired up, you know, go back at them. But parents got to understand, you know, even with kids today and even with NBA players, we're human, you know, and we're kids. We're, you know, especially when you're younger, you probably don't even really think about college or NBA at the time. You playing because you love the game. It's for fun. And yeah, on the court, you just want to win. And at the same time, you know, after the game, you can shake hands, you can laugh, this and that. And it's hard to enjoy the game when people come at you at a different, you know, with an attitude or say this and that, you know, because there's plenty of times, even as a high school this year, there are plenty of times where, you know, I love the game very much. So if anybody were to, you know, say something about this or try to take something out of the game from me, I'd be, you know, it could hurt me, make me feel some type of way, maybe I can get down on myself for it.
Right.
And we just people gotta understand we are humans. We play this game because we love it, not just for the money or the fame that comes with it. We love the game. We love the hell out the game. And you just got to understand, because what if we went to your job and said something about your job?
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's just because we have a bigger platform, though, and everybody watches us. But, yeah, parents just got to understand. And even if you're speaking to your own child, you know, you can say some stuff, but be respectful about it. Know that's your son, that's your kid at the end of the day, and that they just doing their best. You know, all the kids on the court trying to do their best. So, yeah, people just got to chill with what they say and make sure and just watch the words that they say.
You ever got into a fight, Mark?
Well, I got. So, well, first of all, I'll get to that. But yesterday when I was filming you, I saw there was some parents in that last game that you guys lost in. There was, you know, I don't know, I forgot what he said, but he was saying something.
Right.
I think it was the dad of number 20 who was killing. But he was saying something to the kid, one of your kids that was guarding number 20, because I was on the sideline filming. Yeah. And I heard him say, I forgot what he said, but I can tell it was number 2. Number 2 was guarding number 20.
Yep, Jaden.
Yeah, and then he said, I couldn't really hear what he said, but I can tell it affected, because you guys were picking up full court. Yeah. And whatever the dad said, it kind of affected him to where, you know, number 20 blew by him. Yeah. Because, you know, he heard him. He was like, who is this? Right. And then boom, he went by. I don't know what he said, but I'm assuming, because like I said, you do this a lot. That has to happen a lot. Yeah. Where some of these crazy parents are just like talking shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Talking to these kids.
Yeah, like you can't do that. Like let them just play. But okay, so let me give you a quick story. It'll just be real quick. So this was at a pro-am. I remember this was at a pro-am when I was, you know, trying to go overseas. This was in Vegas. This was in Vegas. I remember, and we were playing against a bunch of Samoans. So you already know where this is about to go to.
Big strong.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember, I remember we were playing against them. We were winning. My squad was winning. And it was kind of similar to what happened to Anthony, where one of my teammates got thrown on the ground. Instinctively, right? I run up, I push the dude, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, get off of him. Right. And the next thing you know it, you know what I'm saying, help comes, and it wasn't the teammate. It wasn't a teammate. It was somebody from the stands. Oh, wow. It was a parent or somebody. Lady came out through a slipper, and then the next thing you know it, everybody was on the court. I remember my older brother, I was cornered. My older brother comes help. Like, it was a crazy, and this was in Vegas. It was a crazy, this wasn't high school kids. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I guess people just get really intense when it comes to the game, you know? Or they're just sore losers too. Yeah, I don't know. Well, so that was pretty crazy.
Well, again, for all these parents that act out of pocket, you know, and talking to other people's kids, all I can say is, hell no. You hella whack on my mama. But you know, that you know, that happens, man. It's just you brush it off, you deal with it, and you go with what it is, because you know it is what it is. Yeah. Basically, I'm not a big fan of parents you know, doing too much like that. I mean, you want support, but you don't want your parents being destructive to other kids. Yeah. So, you know, let's talk about not a good fit. Okay, so this weekend for me, for my not a good fit, right? Had a parent who said he wants his kid to stop training with me because he couldn't be on any of my elite teams. Let me make this clear where I think it's not a good fit where I'm your trainer. Do not use my training as some type of means for your kid to get on my team. Because I've literally cut kids who've come to my tryouts while they've trained with me. Because, again, trainer Chris and coach Chris are not the same fucking person. Okay, let me make that very clear. Okay, trainer is supposed to light a fire within you. Coach is supposed to light a fire under you. Okay, let me make that clear. So when you think you can use training as a means to manipulate yourself onto my team, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because I'm not about that. I'm definitely not about that. If your kid's good enough, if they're performing at a high level, they belong on the teams, or on the teams that they deserve to be on. The level of play is determined by your child. It's not determined by, you know, we don't like them, there's politics. That's all bullshit. If your kid can ball, he will ball. And also, we try to put them in places where they can grow. So again, don't come at me about my training like that, because as I always say, it's just not a good fit, right? So, any additional things we need to talk about today, or I think we got a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Again, you know, Myron, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Hopefully you had fun and enjoyed it. And
yeah,
like I said, again, you're our first player guest, so you know, this is a thing. You know, we're gonna keep trying to evolve and grow. Next episode, we should have DT, my boy Darian Towns, played pro for about 12 years, high-level D1 athlete, played on AAU programs with Tyson Chandler and gosh, I forgot somebody else. I can't think. It was a couple of NBA guys, but he has some great stories, great motivational stuff. He's a big man, so for you guys who are bigs, you should definitely hear this guy out. He's 6'10", 6'11", played pro, you know, and made a substantial amount of money. He played overseas, had opportunities to potentially do the D League and stuff like that, but he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going where the money is. So I'm not mad at him for that. You know, Myron, I hope, like I said, Mark knows you more than me, but my overall, you seem like a well-rounded young man. You seem like you got your shit together. You got a clear focus. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. I just want you to be successful and be happy with your journey. Mark, you got any additional info?
We back to work 6 a.m. tomorrow.
No, again, we appreciate everybody and everybody supporting the program, supporting the podcast. You know, like I said, I'm seeing more and more people are listening all over the place. Shit, even getting some worldwide looks. So, you know, happy about that. Yeah, man. You know, please, again, like, share, comment. People have been reaching out, telling me what we're doing good, what we're doing bad, you know, giving me different topics to talk about. And, you know, shit, again, we don't do this because we trying to be famous. We do this because we just want to get a voice. We want to get a voice to the young people. We want to give a voice for coaches and trainers. And we want to just have a real conversation about what's going on in this basketball world. Because, again, you know, we're all about that life. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on IG. You know, you got Mark with GGT. You got me with Phoenix Fitness 24/7. Follow us, support us. You know what I mean? We appreciate everybody who is willing to come on the show, because as far as I've been seeing, I've been having a lot of people reach out that want to speak their story, speak their truth, and I'm very happy to see that. I hope everybody else has a great and blessed day, and we're out.